Hi, y'all. It's Bridget Cuttrell with Real Things Living. Today, my guest is Rene. He is an entrepreneur, the CEO of Exodus Strong. He is a faith and health warrior, and he's a podcast host called I Am Pain Free. Can you say hi, Rob?
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
Good. I'm so glad we connected. We have a lot in common. The baseline is running. We're one of those people think we're weird, but whatever.
For sure. For sure. You like doing that? Right?
Why do they do that to themselves? But you have an amazing story that I wanted to share with my audience. It started with the running, and
Yes.
it proceeded through your becoming an entrepreneur while you started this other company. And so, what can you share that scary story that happened to you?
Yeah, sure. I'll give it a little context. So when I was young, I did find a love for running. It was one of those really funny things where I have an older brother, he's 4 years older than I am, and one weekend, my mom took me he was doing one of those fun runs on the weekend, where they do a 10K. And so he was doing this 10K, and I was young. I was in my long pants and shoes, and I just wanted to go watch my brother. And while he was warming up for this 10K, I saw this other little boy run, and he was like about my age, and he had a singlet on, and he had shorts on and running shoes, and he was out there warming up, and I was just like, wow, that looks cool. I didn't say anything, and then a few minutes later, I saw him again. And I tugged on my mom's jacket and said, "Hey, can I do this?" And she's like, looked at me like I was crazy. He says, "You want to do this?" And I said, "Yes." He goes, "We don't have any shoes. We don't have time to go get you, go home." And I was like, "That's okay. I'll just do it with what I'm in." She's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." So I ended up doing that little 10K, and I ended up beating that young boy. And I'd never run a day of my life, at least on purpose, right?
Purpose. We were kind of like,
Uh,
that's cool, right?
yeah, it was pretty funny. So I could tell when that happened that it was like I naturally had some gifting in running, and then I went into high school and started to be really good, and I was like, wow, this is fun. I ended up winning a national championship when I was in middle school, so in cross country. So it's like I could tell that I was pretty gifted, and I read this book that really transformed my life. That now it is. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But that book was called Eat to Win. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it was a cool book because obviously when you eat something that it fuels your body, but a lot of us don't pay attention to that, and especially nowadays. So I want to talk about that in a few minutes. But back then, it was really impactful because I was a distance runner, kind of like you. It was like I wasn't really good at the sprints, but go a little bit further, and I had a lot of endurance, so I could perform really, really well. And then when I learned how to fuel my body appropriately, we'd get to the end of a race, and even if it was a really competitive race, I always had something else. I always had a good kick. I always was a good finisher because I believe my body was fueled appropriately. So, it was important. But then, oh man, I was so excited. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. What I want to do for a living is like, I want to be a professional runner. And they were like, how do I be a professional runner? And I wasn't sure, but I had a lot of confidence since I'd won that national cross country championship when I was younger and did really well in high school. Got a full ride running scholarship to a Division I school. So I was just super excited about where I was headed. And then I made the junior national team, which was my second year in college, which is the 19 years and younger. I was the second best miler in the country. So, I was really on my way. The coaches at that school thought that I would be a 3:48 miler, which is really, really fast. And so I was super excited, right? I was like, okay, this is going to be exciting. And that winter, while I was after I'd made the U.S. junior team, I went on an international race to a tour with multiple countries. and I ended up beating all of the kids from 5 different countries. So I beat the kid who beat me at nationals, and then won one of those races. And I was like, man, I'm on my way. I'm gonna do this. I was just super excited, and everything was going great. And then, boom, I was out on a wintry, cold winter day in Utah, and it was snowing. The ground was covered with snow, and we had to go do a 10-mile run. So a 10-mile run was important for our endurance training, and so we had to go do it. And I was really dry, and my nose was bleeding, and it was just like, just frustrating because we're really, really cold. But anyway, my friend and I were out running. We were out on the back country road, and on that back country road, we're running, and all of a sudden, my friend, he jumps into the ditch. And he was behind me. He just yelled my name, and he turned around and saw this 4x4 truck coming towards me, and then he just slid right into me. I had no chance other than to just say, "I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna get hit," and it hit me right in my hip and threw me 36 feet. So if you think about that, 36 feet is a really long way to throw a human being.
And chill. I mean, I'm just,
Yeah. It was crazy. And then I landed right on my face. So, it hit me and I went through my body, and then my face landed first, and then my knee, and I'm laying on the ground unconscious. So it knocked me out. And then the bloody nose I had earlier in the run clogged my throat. So then I'm laying on the side of the ground unconscious and can't breathe. So not a good combination, right? It's like after a few minutes, you're going to suffocate and die. And I was really, really blessed with my friend who was running with me, knew I had that bloody nose earlier in the run and was checking me out. And the only thing I could do was just barely squeeze his hand. So he knew I was alive, but I was not there. And so he checked me out. He could tell I wasn't breathing, and he literally unclogged my throat and with his finger. If he wouldn't have done that, I would have perished, because it took at least 12 minutes for the paramedics to get there, and going without oxygen for that long of time, I would have not been around. But so ever since that day, I knew God had a plan for my life, because it was one of those things where it's just like, that was a really traumatic event. And then I went into a really depressed state after that, because ended up ruining my running career. And as I mentioned, that was my whole goal in life, was to be a professional runner. So it was really, really tough period of time for quite a while. And then, I did recover, and I went into the professional field, and I ended up working for some large software companies, and tried to take care of my family and do what we're taught to do. Right? You go to school, you get an education, you go work for somebody, and you try to develop. You get a 401k, and you throw money into it. Just I was doing what what the path was when I was growing up, what you're told to do, and then get what I call the second truck hit me. And that second truck is the truck that hit everybody, which was the pandemic. And the reason why I call it a truck is because it really had almost the same type of impact that first truck did when it hit me. The second one, I was in sales, and when COVID hit, you couldn't travel. So the company I was working for downsized. I'm like, okay, so we're going to have to, lay off all the salespeople. And so here I am, in the middle of Oregon at this point, and had no job, and was just trying to figure out what was going on. The COVID thing was obviously really strange with what was happening. And one of the things that really bothered me most was the vilification of all natural health.
right.
And what I mean by that is, I remember back when I read that book, Eat to Win, right? I know that what you put in your body fuels your body, and your body, is made up of energy and made up of nutrition. And if whatever you feed it, it's the medicine that God put on this earth for you to use and for you to eat. And so when they were vilifying this doctor about vitamin D, I was like, vitamin D. I was like, come on, vitamin D is like the sun, right? It's like, how can you vilify someone for recommending, the sun, right? That it was like didn't make any sense whatsoever. And then that really got me to do research on what was happening. And that really woke me up to a lot of different things and a lot of corruption in the medical field and just corruption in general. I really understood that a lot of our information we're receiving is controlled information. And I can go down a lot of rabbit holes, but at the same point, I just want to at least explain to people that, yeah, I realized that we were being lied to from a medical perspective. And it really frustrated because I'm like, hold on, this doesn't make any sense. Why? Why is this happening? And why are people like this? And how could it ever get this way? And so I did a ton of research and saw how early 1900s our medical system was really changed dramatically, by the Rockefellers and a lot of things that they had done. And wow, that really woke me up. I was like, okay, this is really bad, and I'm not sure what to do about it. Here I am. I'm not a medically trained person. I'm an athlete at heart, and had a sales career, and I was working in technology. And I'm like, what can I do to help the world? And I wasn't sure, but my brother had a podcast, and he was helping people with just faith-based things, and he's like, why don't we work together and create some solutions for people? So we tried to figure out what that was. What could that be? And that's when I ended up getting said, well, I'm going to go create a supplement, and we're going to help people with supplements. So as I was working with this gentleman to formulate what the supplement would be, this is getting it after COVID, so I'm just trying to think of something that would help people naturally. And then I got introduced to this quantum energy, this mad scientist, I call him. And the mad scientist worked on these frequency patches that were really amazing. You have a frequency that you apply to your body, and it connects to the energy system in your body to help with certain health issues like pain or allergies. We have 14 different products that helps with just no medicine, but all frequencies. And it's a really, really cool company and fun because I'm helping people with natural solutions. But then literally, in my opinion, God keeps leading. If I look back on my life, I see God chiseling me all along the way. Right, like initially I thought I was going to be a runner. Right, I'm going to be a runner. Boom, you get by a truck. Well, I guess that's not going to happen. Right, so then I go into sales. And I had sales for decades, and I was really good at communicating with people and talking to people. And then boom, that ends with COVID. And then he wakes me up to what the corruption that's going on within the world. Because up until that point, I had no clue, no idea that this stuff was happening. And so then I think literally she's led me to the right people at the right time to really help humanity in a significant way. And I don't mean that lightly at all. I just really believe that he put me on this earth to be, that's why I call myself a faith and health warrior, is
Right.
through this process, I really developed a really strong relationship with Christ. And I believe that, that's the way and the truth. But at the same point, I don't push anything on anybody, right? It's like well, at least just explain my view and talk. And one of the classes I liked most at my college was the world religions class. And wow, did that wake me up to the different religions all across the world, right? It's like, wow. So it's fun to talk to people with different beliefs and then at least explain what I believe and why. But then, the health thing is so important to me just because that was really important when I was young. And then I got hit by the truck, and that ended that career. And then I going through a really tough period of time where was addicted to alcohol. So for 20 years, I drank every day. And then I think it's been almost 7 years, 6.5 years I've been sober, and haven't had anything to drink. And then I'm really treating my body in so much a better fashion. And it's really intriguing and fun for me now to really look at it and say, how can I help people avoid what I did and live a healthy life and give them a reason to live a healthy life. So that's why I talk about faith into it, but then also talk about health. And man, the Lord led me. I was doing research on the Bible on all of the different herbs and superfoods in the Bible. Because if you do think about it, like he made the earth, he made all the things on the earth, and we will eat things that come from the earth. And that's I think, in my opinion, he put all the things on the earth that we need. Of course, man has made up a lot of different foods.
Right.
What?
Gotta use it properly, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If we do it properly, and so it's been fun to research all the different things within the Bible, and that's one of the things I thought. Well, now I've got this quantum energy skin patch company that is called QE Strong. It still is a great product, but I was like, how can I enhance it and make it better? And I was always researching these biblical ingredients. I was just like, it's got to have something. Yes, these are really neat, and these are going to be really helpful for people, but it's got to have something special. And I was like, God, what is it? What can I do to really transform people's health in a dramatic way? And he led me to this doctor who was looking for me. The doctor was looking for a person who would want to take the technology he has and add something special to it and market it in a biblical way. And so he was looking for me and I was looking for him, and the technology that we've added to this new supplement, a new brand that we've got called Exodus. The Exodus is the product and Exodus Strong is the company. But the really neat thing about it is this supplement has 7 biblical herbs and superfoods that are really, really healthy, have really, really good benefits. But then we have this molecular hydrogen generating blend that goes along with it. And the thing that's so transformational about that is, as you do research on molecular hydrogen, first of all, if you back up to the 30,000 foot level, hydrogen is the smallest element, right? It's the most abundant element in the world. And God made all of this stuff. So, but if you look at the research that's been done on molecular hydrogen in the body, it's dramatic. I mean, it really, really helps with serious problems. If you look at the top 5 health issues in the world today, it's cardiovascular issues, right? It's cognitive issues, it's gut health issues, it's weight, it's blood sugar issues. You take those significant issues and problems, and guess what? Molecular hydrogen has a significant benefit for each of those. So you're like, wow. So you take the biblical herbs and ingredients that I've come up with that are pretty awesome, the 7 that really work and help with energy and with stress relief. And then you combine that with this molecular hydrogen, and it is the most incredible product that, in my opinion, is out there in the market, because it's something that everybody can take. And it's something everybody should take, because it literally is helping relieve you of either those big issues that you have and or help prevent it. So that's what I love about molecular hydrogen molecular hydrogen is what's called a master antioxidant. Have you heard of an antioxidant before?
Yes.
Yeah. So an antioxidant, it's like it gets rid of stuff, right? And that's good, but sometimes it gets rid of good stuff, which
Right.
you don't want. Like, if you have bacteria in your gut, for example, right? There's really good bacteria in your gut. You need to have bacteria in your gut for your gut to work correctly. And so if you get rid of all that stuff, then you're in worse shape than if you kept the bad stuff in your body. So the cool thing about molecular hydrogen is it works as a master antioxidant. And what that means is it attaches itself to the bad stuff, the free radicals, and gets rid of those, but then it helps the mitochondrial process work more efficiently and effectively. So that's where it gets really cool, because then it just helps your body do what it's supposed to do and helps it do it better and gets rid of all the junk. So it reduces inflammation. So AKA, when you have inflammation, a lot of people have pain, right? And so it helps with that. Helps with the cognitive issues, like I mentioned. It helps with the managing sugar levels. Right. And so if you just look at the research, this is what the research says. This isn't what Rob says. This is what the research says. And it's really, really fun. So now I really now have a product that I think is something that everybody should take because I think it's going to help them. And it's something that's really going to benefit humanity in a significant way. So it's exciting.
Also see it as something as a one step, simple step to start. Is that the right?
Yes, you don't have to take 5 different pills to do what you need to supplement your body. The biblical ingredients, they're organic barley, organic wheatgrass, or aloe and saffron and cumin and frankincense and myrrh. You take those 7 ingredients and they really give you all the nutrients you need. And
Right.
it's of course you need to eat, right? You need to, but this supplement gives you the greens that you need. Like a lot of people drink the green shake, right? And it's like instead of drinking a green shake, you can take this one supplement. But then, a lot of people take anti-anxiety medicine. You can use this supplement,
Yeah. It
you
just,
know, just
it
it's
just
like 5 different things. Instead of taking, you can take this one thing instead of 5 other things.
keep,
So
keeping
it's
us.
really dramatic. And I'm so excited about it.
I like that you mentioned the gut and what's the word? Biome or whatever. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw a holistic doctor who helped me. He was a holistic epidemiologist.
Right.
He found that I had the good bacteria, but not enough of it.
Awesome.
Right. So he gave me a supplement, but I think part of it was because I've always had over the years of allergy problems and get sinus infections. And so taking it, so it was my gut was a little messed up. And then
Yeah.
we learned that you probably learned this too from you. I have an issue with casein protein.
Okay. Right.
And people don't know what that is. That is the chunk in cottage cheese, whereas the whey is the liquid in cottage cheese. And so he told me to stay away from whey protein supplement because it could be contaminated. And what it does to me, it makes my body hurt later. It doesn't happen right away, but it causes inflammation for some reason. I didn't know this, but I was very open to learning new things and being curious. And it reduced, all kinds of reduce it just help you heal.
Yeah. Yes. That's what's so exciting to me is that, God made our bodies wonderfully. Our bodies are so complex, right? You think that it's easy, but it's not.
Right?
It's really, really, really complex. And if you go down even to the cellular level of our bodies, it interacts with each other with vibrations, which is AKA frequencies. So
Oh,
that's why we love our frequency medicine, right? That really helps. But just when you understand how amazing your body is and how it functions, and then you can start feeding it the right things, right? And when you start feeding it the right things, it does what God designed it to do. God designed your body to heal itself, right? You
I
cut yourself, right? What happens when you cut your finger, right? After you get the blood from gushing, then it's going to eventually heal. And so if we can, and that's why I love the gut, right? The gut is so, so critical and important because that's where everything starts. And that's been fun with my podcast. I am pain free. I've literally interviewed tons and tons of health practitioners because I want to know how can we help people relieve pain. And I look at all modalities, all different types of things. But guess what? Majority of them say you have to start at the gut. And
yes.
if you don't cure the gut, then nothing else can heal. And so you get your gut bio well, like you did. Good job for doing that. And then when you get your gut working well, then your body the inflammation is reduced because your body's working the way it's supposed to work. So it's fascinating when you start looking at the human body and how we can literally help it do what it's supposed to do. But the problem is, our air is compromised, our food is compromised, our water is compromised. And so you have to be diligent about what you do, what you're bringing into your body, right? So you have to have good air, and water is so, so important, right? You have to have healthy water. And so, you got to have good filtered water because our natural tap water is just junk. It's just bad. So that's super important. Our body's 60 to 70% water. So like you have to have a ton of water. And most people are dehydrated, and then that causes problems. So, man, we can be so healthy and do it so inexpensively if we just do a couple of things, right? You get some sun, you get out, you get your feet, and you go out and ground, get your feet on the earth, and that's such a different thing. My wife always jokes with me because she told me that, and I used to laugh at her. I'm like, come on. I don't need to put my feet on on the dirt. I don't think that,
Right.
yeah, I was like, this is dumb. But then I started doing research about it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so important, right? It really helps the energy in your body work the way it's supposed to. So you get good water, you ground, help your body function the way it's supposed to. And then you start eating the right nutrients you need and you get that gut health working. And guess what? Your body starts to heal itself. All the issues that people have, most of them can be cured with just being really smart about what you're intaking and doing a couple of basic things. And man, your body can transform in significant ways. So it's really fun to try to work with people and help educate them and teach them on these types of things. So it's fun.
It's important. I'm glad you're working with doctors too, because they're the ones that need to be, they're not, my understanding, when they went to medical school, majority, they don't learn much about nutrition.
Yeah, what's fun is I literally just watched the podcast that was like 7 million people watched it. So it's really awesome, awesome podcast. This woman named Casey Means, Means, and her brother Callie Means. They just were on the Tucker Carlson show, and it's so amazing. She wrote a book called Good Energy. And it's an awesome book, but a really neat thing is she really did a lot of research. She is a Stanford educated surgeon. So she went through the whole medical school system and the medical school field. And she says, guess how much nutrition training I did in my 12 years or whatever she did of school. She says like one hour, one class work of all of that period. And now she's just like literally flip-flopped her entire world, because now her Good Energy book is all about what you put in your body fuels your body. And there's so much contamination with things. And what is really neat to see that she literally had been educated through that system and then realized that it just wasn't working, right? She was a specialist on the ear, nose, throat. She was like working on inflammation with the ear, nose, throat. She's like, how do I fix this? It's like, yes, I can fix it, but then it's going to come back. So I got to fix it. What, how do I fix it from coming back? And so she wanted to like start looking at the body as a whole, but she's just this ENT specialist, right? And then so she started trying to look at it holistically, and that the system's not set up for doing that. So she literally had to stop being a surgeon and in that field and go look at and do research. And she did a ton of research on the corruption of the medical industry and how it got corrupted at the beginning with the Flexner report back in the early 1900s, and how our medical system was really taken over. Instead of teaching holistic medicine, it was only taught just pharmaceutical-based medicines. And then our schools, all the medical schools, were only taught that way of practicing. And they weren't taught any of the holistic medicine practices, AKA nutrition. It's like that's why the Eat to Win book keeps coming back into my world, because it's like, my gosh, God trained me, when I was young, how important it is. And now you circle all the way around, and I've helped create a help company that's a faith-based solution that is really unique and different. We have a prayer guide that goes with every product, because we want people to literally say the intention for themselves, a prayer out loud. And then we want them to literally pray. So they're using their eyes to read it, their ears to hear themselves say it, and their mouth to declare it. And then they take the supplement, and the combination of those things are really important, right? Your mind is very, very powerful. Your mind can control your body in significant ways. So if you can really believe that you're going to be healed, and you give your body the right elements that it needs to heal, your body's going to do, is the ultimate healer. He's going to heal you from the inside out. So it gives people so much hope that, oh my gosh, I've had this issue for so long. But guess what? If you do the right things, you can reverse almost any condition. Of course, I can't make any medical claims. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just a simple man trying to help humanity with some natural solutions. So, but it's exciting journey.
And it's good. And I think you're also reminding doctors, I mean, it's important to think outside the box, but still be curious. They need to be curious because there is
Yeah.
what I've learned along my path is you got to not just focus on the symptoms, got to find the root cause. And
Yeah, not the system is not set up for a doctor to
uh,
understand what the root cause is. That's the biggest problem is that they're incented to talk to the next patient. They need to help you with your issue, and you have 10 minutes, and they're going to prescribe you another pill, and then you're going to go away. And that pill is going to maybe help you with that particular issue for a short period of time, but it's going to cause two or three other issues. But then you're going to go see another specialist. And that specialist is going to say, oh, well, you need this pill. And the average senior today is taking 15 prescription medications in a year period. 15. That's just
crazy.
ridiculous.
I still get all my checkups, all the because I've had some
Yeah.
issues, but they asked me how many prescriptions are you on? I say zero.
They probably fall over, right? They're like, what?
I'm like, no, I'm not. I mean, I'm almost 60 and but I'm not perfect, but like you, I changed everything in my lifestyle and my
Yeah.
diet was important. People thought I was crazy cutting out dairy. I'm like, why should I take dairy when I'm going to feel like hell the next day?
Nice. Right.
Now, like you take a pain pill, like why would it's just stuff like that. People you just got to keep it simple. But I knew I was listening to my body, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Right. And so many people don't, right? We need to get people to just start thinking about that. It's like, okay, just logically, you know, when you eat food, what is the food for, right? Is the food for enjoyment or is the food there to fuel your body so you can operate?
Yes, I like that.
And most people think of food as entertainment. It's like, oh, I want to go get in that. Our society is built around that fast food area. That this the book that good energy book is amazing. So there's like 70% of what we consume today as consumers is ultra processed food, and that ultra processed food has been modified by the food companies to get you addicted. I
That's
mean, literally, they want you addicted to their substances and they want you to feel hungry. So, you're eating
right.
something that's not healthy for you and it's making you hungry and make you want more. And it's just like, why? Well, I mean, but because they want you to, and you don't trust me, just read the book, good energy. It's awesome. And it's going to teach you a lot of things that you're going to just like, oh, wow, really? Man, I'm being so much more just understanding of what I'm eating because what we out there is just, it's crazy. They're really changing the way that our food is. And if you look at the problems in our society from a health perspective, it's going through the roof and it's going through the roof for a reason.
Right.
Right. And so you have to look at that and say, okay, why is diabetes it's so dramatic? Why is cardiovascular disease so prevalent? What's happening to our world, right? We know more information. We have more information and people aren't being taught this information and they need to just stop and think about it. And they need people like you and I to help them understand that, man, God made you an incredible body and it's really complex, but if you feed it the right things at the right time, it can start doing what it's supposed to do. Right. And there's lots of ways to get you there and lots of protocols and lots of fasts you can do. There's lots of, cleanses you can do to help get your body the way it needs to. But if you just take it to the basics and say, okay, I need a good air to breathe. I need good water to drink and I need good food to put in my body. And you start doing those three things, and guess what? You're going to see major, major, major shifts in your health just by concentrating on those three things. And then you start feeling well, and you're like, okay, this is working. Then you start doing a little bit of research, right? Maybe you'll go, listen to another podcast about all natural health, or you'll get that book, right? And good energy. And you read that book, and then you're like, wow, I'm going to start being a little bit more cognizant about my health. And that's what I want to do. I just want to wake people up and say, hey, that our society's changed, our water sucks, our food is compromised. It's crazy what's happening. So let's just look at it and try to do the right thing. And if we can start a groundswell of people who are doing this, it's really going to make a big difference in not only our lives, but the lives of our children and our grandchildren if we can really teach people these important lessons.
It's true. It is so true. There's so many thoughts going through my head, and I'm so glad that I didn't let the negativity. I've had some people be negative to me. I'm sure you have too, Rob.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Like
Yeah,
women are just, yeah, I'm just being Bridget, but I'm still healthy. I'm still here. Yeah. I like what you're saying about the food and being really careful what you're eating and in the water and the proper air. And
yeah, yeah.
I that one doctor real quickly, he had me get on I put a reverse osmosis water system
Awesome. Yep.
in our house because I could taste the difference, right? Because you
Yeah.
can't what does it pull out? It's like I can't think of there's so many toxins that are lead
Our,
out
so,
our water.
like lead, a lot of fluoride, they literally put fluoride in the, it's like, why are they putting fluoride in our water?
And
So
that's sweet. And then it makes you I don't know, it just everybody's different and you might trigger a certain addiction to eat. Like I didn't realize that dairy was addicting to me.
right, right. Yeah. Dairy's like, yeah, yummy, right? It's like you get certain things, it's like, yeah, it's
And
good.
they tell you got to eat this for your calcium. No, you don't. You get
Yeah.
calcium vegetables. But
Yeah, that pyramid is the biggest pyramid stupid scheme in the and like the worst pyramid ever. It's like you just can't believe that they are
my mom
well just
was
the
trying to follow that and give us dairy. Yeah.
yeah, right. Right.
But, and again, I think I really appreciate your time, and thing is my takeaway is being your curiosity has helped you come to this point, and you're trying to help other people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I really want to help people be healthy, and I want to help other people. I want to incent other people to do it. So we have a program with my company with Exodus that I incentivize you to share it. So
Right.
it's like if you share it, you get 20% of the profit of whatever I'm selling, and then if they can. It's not a multi-level; it's just a two-tiered referral program. But the cool thing is, if you like the product, which I really recommend it for everybody, if you when you start to use it and like it, then all you have to do is share it with a few people, and then yours is free for the month, right? And then then it can just snowball, and I believe it is going to snowball, and I think you're going to see over the next couple of years that Exodus is going to be a huge name in the industry, and the company is going to be a way different company than we are, the small little company we are now, because I know the transformational effects that this product's going to have on people. We have people that a professional weightlifter who, after just a couple of usages of the product, broke PRs, and she's like, I know my body so well. I train every day. I know what helps me and doesn't help me. And she goes, I can't believe this product has helped me in that short period of time. So now she's taking it. She wants to help other people do it. So there's just so many benefits for athletes, but there's so many benefits for just the normal human person. So in one of our health practitioners, we already have a handful of health practitioners that have it in their practice already. And we just started, we're only about a month old, right? So it's super exciting. And they're even prescribing it for children. They take half of the capsule. It helps young children with cognitive issues and with stress. Instead of taking an antidepressant, right, you can take an all natural health supplement that's going to help you, not hurt you and or get you addicted and or cause other problems down the road. So
As you were saying something, you were talking about the how it helps your brain. I've noticed recently, I know I'm kind of going off tangent here. A lot of people are being diagnosed with being divergent as an adult.
yeah,
Have you seen that? I just
I just think, yeah, there's so many health issues that are just like, why, what's going on, and why is our brain being modified and changed? I think a lot of it's with some of the technology, the Wi-Fi, and the disruption of things, and then just us as a society, we're always indoors, right? You never have access to the sun like you should. And the sun is the source of energy, right? So even it's the plants that you eat, you get that energy from the sun. And it's just if that's how God designed the world is for us to have that. So we need to get more exercise and movement, and we need to be in the sun more often. So it's just stuff that really seems 101 and basic. But if you think about what you do during a day, how often do you sit and how long do you sit? And how often do you go outside? And how often do you see the sun? And you start thinking about things like that. And I personally was horrible at that for decades, probably. Right? I would sit down on my computer and desk and work for 8 hours and not hardly do anything. And I was in a cubicle, right? So it's like, that's just not a healthy way to live. So we need to get people to break out of that prison and start realizing that, man, their bodies can be so much more healthy if they just do some basic things. And then when they start seeing that transformation, it's addictive because then you're like, oh wow, this is exciting. It's fun, right? It's really fun when you can start changing your own health.
The sun comment you made, one of the quotes, prescriptions my doctor gave me was to sit outside in the sun for a certain time of day for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it was hard getting off dairy, by the way, but I had to
I'll bet.
get off dairy, and that he was like, to help me with healing, he recommended vitamin D, and for me, where I live, to not go out in the middle of the day because that's when the UV index is higher. But he was recommended for me.
Yeah,
But
if you'd read that Good Energy book, I don't want to interrupt, I just want to explain one thing is even being in the shade gives you 1,000 times more energy than if you're even in the sun. So just get in the shade, and that's still going to be. Yeah, yeah. I was really surprised at that. I was like, wow, that's amazing. So even being in the shade of a tree still gives you 1,000 times more than if you were sitting indoors. Like, whoa, that's crazy.
so helpful and beneficial, and I think what you're doing is it's going to have a domino effect. That's really the goal.
Right.
You're to immediately affect millions and millions, but we're going
I just want to change one. I want one of you to try this Exodus supplement. It's just simple, exodusstrong.com, and try it. And then you're going to see some benefits, and then you're going to be amazed. And you say, I want to have other people that I know and love, right? Because we all want our friends and family to live well. We want our children to live well, and we want them to be healthy. And I've got something that can really help them be healthy. And I'm not saying this in a selfish way because I want to build an amazing company. I want to build this amazing company because I want to help the world. Right?
Yes.
The more revenue I can make, the more I can expose this to the world, and then we're going to give back a significant amount of our money so for every bottle that we sell, we donate, and it's exciting because we're just donating some to an organization who does a 24/7 biblical reading, a TV program, and that really fits well with our prayer guide, right? Because that's what we're trying. Our goal, our mission at the company is to get 1 million new people to be reading the Word through their health, and so. Yeah, we think that everybody's going to get a bottle of the product is going to get this reading plan and this prayer guide. And, whether or not you read it or not is up to you. I would suggest you read it. And then I think it's going to pique some curiosity. You say, oh, what does that verse mean? And then you may start reading the word through that. So I think it's just going to have a snowball effect. And I think it's going to be really impactful to the world. And I'm just blessed that the Lord has given me this opportunity to help people in this fashion.
I really love what you're doing, and I appreciate your time. And for those that are listening, he mentioned exodus.com, and I'll have
Exodus Strong.
Exodus Strong. I apologize.
Yeah, no problem.
Strong.com. And we'll have that link included in the show notes because you might be driving while you're listening to this. You don't know, but stay safe. But anyway, we'll have that. And I thank you so much for sharing your story, Rob. It's amazing. And
wonderful to see you again. And I love everything that you do as well. So let's make the world a better place.
Yes, that's the whole goal, right?
Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much, guys.